One tax change in the 2026 budget will cost some Aussie investors an extra $59,000 on a single asset sale. And the kicker, if you earn less, you actually get hit harder. I'll show you why the new system is the opposite of what the government's selling. I'll show you exactly how the new indexation maths works out worse than the old 50% discount on almost every real investment. I'll break down the 30% minimum tax floor that more than doubles the bill for low-income Aussies. And I'll get to the buried clause that retroactively taxes assets the government promised would be exempt for life. If you own shares, property, or anything outside super, stay with me. The numbers here will change how you plan the next 5 years. So here's what's happening. From the 1st of July 2027, the 50% capital gains tax discount is gone. Dead. Replaced by something called cost-based indexation. The government says this is fairer. They say you'll only pay tax on your real gain, the growth above inflation. Sounds reasonable, right? But here's the thing. The whole point of investing is to beat inflation. And if your asset does that, which it should, you pay more tax. Not less. More. Let me show you. Say you make a $100,000 capital gain. Under the current rules, you keep about $84,000. $16,000 goes to the ATO. Decent. Under the new rules, same gain, same income, you keep $77,000. Nearly $23,000 goes to the ATO. That's an extra $7,000 on the exact same profit. And that's a modest example. Now scale it up. A high growth asset returning 7.5% a year. Under the old discount, your taxable gain would have been around $265,000. Under indexation, it blows out to $390,000. The extra tax? $59,000 on a single sale. So the only taxing real gains line is technically true, but indexation only strips out inflation, not real growth. And because most investments grow well above CPI, the taxable amount is almost always bigger than halving the gain. That's the trick. The government projects this change, combined with negative gearing reform, will pull in $3.6 billion over 5 years. That money has to come from somewhere. It's coming from your portfolio. Now this is where it gets genuinely ugly, because there's a second part to this reform that barely made the headlines. A 30% minimum tax rate on all capital gains, regardless of your actual marginal rate. Think about what that means for someone on a low income. Jack earns $25,000 a year. He sells some shares, makes a $10,000 gain. Under current law, with the 50% discount, his tax on that gain is about $1,400. 14% effective rate? Fair enough. Under the new system, the 30% floor kicks in. Jack now pays $3,000. More than double. On the same gain. On the same income? Meanwhile, someone earning $200,000 already on a 47% marginal rate is completely unaffected by the floor. It doesn't touch them. They were above 30% anyway. So the person earning the least cops the biggest percentage increase. A gap year student selling inherited shares. A part-timer cashing out a small parcel. A self-funded retiree living on modest savings. They all hit the floor. And here's the twist that should make you properly angry. Age pension recipients are exempt. They keep the old 50% discount on the entire gain. No floor. But self-funded retirees, the people who saved more, planned better, and don't draw a cent from Centrelink, they get the full hit, indexation, and the 30% floor. You're reading that right. The system punishes you for being more financially independent. Picture this. You're 62. You've got $800,000 in assets outside super. You don't qualify for the age pension because you saved too much. You sell an investment property to fund your retirement. You cop the full 30% floor plus indexation on every dollar of gain after 2027. Your neighbor, same age, spent more, saved less, qualified for a part pension, sells the same property. They keep the 50% discount. Their tax bill could be tens of thousands less than yours. That's not a hypothetical. That's how the legislation is drafted. Even low-growth assets get stung. A residential property returning 5% a year. Pretty typical for Aussie real estate. Under the old discount, the taxable gain is about $157,000. Under indexation, $174,000. $8,000 more in tax. Not catastrophic, but it proves this isn't just about high-flying tech stocks. It touches everything. And from the same budget, negative gearing on established properties bought after budget night is quarantined. Those rental losses can only offset other rental income, not your salary. So you're paying more CGT and losing the write-off. New builds get the carve-out. You can choose between the old discount or new indexation, whichever gives lower tax. Your main residence is still fully exempt. Super funds keep their 33% discount. Small business concessions stay. But everyday investors? The maths has shifted hard. But before I close, there's the part almost nobody's talking about. If you bought an asset before September 1985, you currently pay zero capital gains tax. None. Pre-CGT assets are fully exempt. That's been the rule for 40 years. Under the new system, any growth after the 1st of July 2027 becomes taxable, even on pre-CGT assets. Emma bought a property in 1984 for $100,000. It's worth $1 million on the 1st of July 2027. She sells in 2028 for $1.1 million. Under current law, nothing. Completely exempt. Under the new rules, she owes $23,500 on an asset that's been tax-free her entire adult life. 40 years of certainty wiped by one budget. If you take one thing from this, the government is calling this modernization fairness. But the maths tells a different story. The 50% discount was blunt. It was simple, and for most Australians, it was cheaper. The new system taxes more of your gain, sets a floor that punishes low earners, rewards pension dependency over self-reliance, and retroactively hits assets that were promised to be exempt forever. This isn't simplification. It's $3.6 billion in new revenue dressed up as reform. The 1st of July 2027 is the line in the sand. Everything you do between now and then, selling, restructuring, timing your exits, matters more than it did a month ago. The old rules are generous. They won't be for long. If this changed how you think about your portfolio, subscribe. We break down every policy shift that hits your wallet.